This week, ABC gifted us with 5 hours of The Bachelor and the most drama ever, so let's talk about it.
Hey guys, welcome back to our shared news Bachelor recap. I'm your host, Renee Ariel.
And I'm Fiona Zaring.
And that was a lot of television to get through. But before we get into all of the drama, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so we can keep you updated on what is happening in Bachelor Nation. But again, a lot happened. So before we really dive in, I think we should summarize what went down in 60 seconds. On this week's episodes of The Bachelor, lots of girls went home, including Alayah, even though she just came back. Peter cut open his head by walking into a golf cart, and there was a ton of drama. First, Tammy accused Kelsey of using pills. Peter didn't know who to believe, as per usual, but ultimately chose to believe Kelsey and gave her a rose. Peter went on a one-on-one with Kelley, who once again proved to be too good for him. He also went on a one-on-one with Sydney, who he said was the best kisser. We got a Cosmo shoot group date. Victoria F won, but her cover was pulled because of a controversy. There was drama at the rose ceremony as both Tammy and McKenna pulled Peter aside, which pissed off Lexi, but it didn't matter because she went home, along with Kiarra and Deandra. On Wednesday night, Hannah, Ann, and Peter had an underwhelming one-on-one. She almost went home, but then she cried and got to stay. Victoria F had a second one-on-one, almost went home, but then she cried and decided to stay. There was an uneventful group date. To everyone's surprise, Peter sent Victoria P home out of nowhere. Tammy went after McKenna for no reason, and then the two of them basically had a 2-on-1 before the rose ceremony until Peter ultimately believed McKenna and sent Tammy packing, until he also sent McKenna packing at the rose ceremony along with Sydney. The end. Okay, so we had Monday night's episode and Wednesday night's episode, and to get started, let's go into who went home on Monday night, because it feels like these episodes were just filled with women being sent home.
This was like the purge.
Yes, it was.
So many girls are gone.
Okay, so starting with Monday night, first of all, Alayah was sent home again at the start of the episode.
Hi and bye!
Yeah, like the quickest comeback exit ever. So LOL to that. And then we had Lexi go home. She went home, which I liked her until that whole rose ceremony drama, which we'll get into.
We didn't know her.
No.
And then we finally met her and she was real pissed, and then it was bye Lexi.
Bye, Lexi. And then Kiarra and Deandra. Deandra was the most shocked that I think I've ever been watching the episode. I was not shocked that she went home, but she told him that night she was wifey material.
She did, and I honestly wonder, like, obviously they can't show us everything. She seemed so sad. Like, they must have had some good moments that we just, like, they didn't make the cut, because she was
Devastated.
And obviously we feel bad for her.
We feel bad, but it's okay.
You did your best.
Okay, moving on to our one-on-one dates. You guys, my girl Kelley finally got a one-on-one date and proved that she's just too good for him.
Kelley, you rock.
She rocks.
She's so smart.
I love her.
So smart.
She's too good for him. She's too good for the
is.
show. And I love the
She's
show.
so good. Like this, like we need just like a Kelley level dating competition.
Yes.
This is not it for her. He got into that so smug. He was like, I'm not sure. You're not doing enough. Are you committed to this? And she was like, mm-hmm. Are you ready to get married? Because I'm just having some really logistical, valid doubts. I was like bowing down to the TV.
I loved it. It was such a moment on this season.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that she's still on the show, so we get her for at least another week. But like, let's be honest, there's no way she's gonna end up with someone like him. No offense, Peter, we love you, but like, they're just not the same.
If she does end up with him, I mean, not all bachelor couples last anyways, but like they're not gonna. She's so smart.
There's no way. And we also had a date with Sydney, which was quite uneventful, except for the fact that Peter told her that she was the best kisser, which aired, and obviously he doesn't pick Sydney, so whoever he's engaged to or dating maybe knows that he thinks that Sydney's a better kisser than her, just saying.
Ugh. And at any point, Peter's kissed everyone, basically. So all the girls that were eliminated at any point who had kissed Peter were probably sitting home like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, good for Sydney. Like, whatever. She's a good kisser. She could totally have that badge of honor. I was just like, Peter, every other girl.
Every other girl watching is like, what? So, whatever. That happened. And then, you guys, we had the group date with Cosmopolitan. This group date was actually hard to watch because of the girls making out with him in front of the other girls, like Hannah, Ann, and Victoria F.
Yeah.
It was a weird date. However, Victoria F won the date, which seemed to almost bother Hannah Ann because she is the model.
Yeah, and Hannah Ann did a good job too. Like, what did you think Victoria F did anything extra impressive?
She just kissed him first. And I think that's the energy they wanted to cause drama, so they ultimately picked her as the winner.
Sure.
But Cosmo pulled her cover, which they announced after the episode aired because of that controversy. She was modeling for a campaign for a marine conservation group. However, they used a pretty racist slogan, White Lives Matter. So there's a lot of issues with it. She's defended herself and apologized.
I love the way the editor-in-chief of Cosmo handled it.
Yes.
She wrote, like, it's totally worth reading. She wrote, like, a very short and simple note that was basically just like, these are the facts, this is what happened. Like, the story behind what that campaign was or why they chose that slogan, like, is irrelevant to me. Like, I'm not putting that on my cover.
Yep.
And again, we've been saying this from the beginning. Outside of the show, there are so many question marks regarding Victoria F.
So many.
So we can't even, like, apply it to the, it just, you have to kind of move on from it. But yikes.
Yikes is right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the drama of Monday night because you guys, Tammy and Kelsey went at it and it was very weird to watch.
Kelsey.
At first we were, poor Kelsey just keeps being in the middle of these things. What are your thoughts on this? Because she did kind of have a breakdown when he was on the date with Sydney. She said she just got emotional, but I understand both sides of it.
Here's my thing. Every single recap we've had,
Yes.
I think at some point I've said, my hardest thing with The Bachelor is you're dating the same guy and the girls and the friendships and that. So, like, Kelsey, I get it. I get the breakdown. I understand why it's hard, especially when you've developed feelings. Like, the more intense the feelings get, the harder it is to watch. Totally get it. Did she have another, like, really intense, like, breakdown that was hard to watch? Yes.
And I think that was only what we saw of it. I think there's more that we didn't see
Yes.
based on what we heard.
And based on all the girls' reactions, I do
Yeah.
think she was drinking a lot. I do think all of those things. Here's my issue, though. It doesn't matter that that's what was going on with Kelsey. Tammy had no right to behave that way, especially when you're calling into question, like, if you're concerned that someone is drinking too much, that is not the way you handle it.
No.
That was so inappropriate. And what I really didn't like, remember she initiated all of this by acting as though she was concerned and just trying to be a sounding board for Kelsey. Then Kelsey annoyed her during that conversation, and that was it. It's just not good. That's just not being a good girlfriend. Like, that's just not what you do to people. It's not nice.
No, and this is with the episode where I was trying to still give Tammy the benefit of the doubt because
Same.
we know that Kelsey's a bit of a handful.
Same.
It wasn't until Wednesday night that I was like, oh no, Tammy. But moving forward to the rose ceremony and part 2 of the drama with Tammy, because as we know, Kelsey went to go talk to Peter to defend herself after Tammy talked to him about her drinking and possibly doing pills or popping pills.
I'm sorry. I just, like, also, the Bachelor producers, like, kill me because Kelsey just takes a stroll down to Peter's villa. Like, that's something they're just all allowed to do whatever they want. It was so casual. Like,
Yeah.
it's all so well done.
I know. Those Bachelor producers, all of them deserve a raise.
Oh
but
my God.
Peter once again proves he'll believe the last person that speaks to him. So naturally, as Kelsey defended herself, and he said he really likes her, he gave her a rose, validated her, and that was that. Then, after this conversation with Kelsey, all the girls are quite alarmed because they learn that there is no cocktail party.
Once again!
Once again. So naturally, Tammy, scared of going home, wants to talk to Peter and make it better.
Which I get.
Which I guess she did, and it worked because he did keep her. And then people were
Last thing
mad.
he hears.
Last thing he hears. And you know who also stayed? Who was also the last person to talk to him?
McKenna.
And then you know who got mad about it?
Everyone.
Lexi and
But you
Victoria
know what?
F.
McKenna kept saying, I needed my time. I'm like, sure. What are you supposed to be also maintaining the friendships with the other girls? If your goal is to date the guy, then you have to be out for yourself. And with Peter, if you cry, you get a rose. If you defend yourself right before the rose ceremony,
You get a rose.
You get a rose. Like, play the game.
Yeah, and in McKenna's defense also, like, I think the problem that the girls had with her mainly is because she's kind of the weak link and she's more sensitive, and I think she seeks more approval than some of the other girls. When she did that, instead of being unapologetic about it, she was like, hey guys, like, I'm sorry, like, I needed my time. And so naturally they're like, you shouldn't have done that. If he wanted you, he would have. Everyone breaks the rules on the show. Let her have her like 5 minutes.
She's had no time. None.
Like, are we biased because we love McKenna? Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, enough about McKenna. That pretty much sums up our 3-hour Monday night episode, but let's get to Wednesday because Wednesday was full of shockers in it and drama again. So who went home Wednesday night, starting with the biggest shocker, I think, of the season?
Yeah.
Victoria P was sent home, not even at the rose ceremony. She was sent home, I think, on a group date, like while they're all exploring a building.
It felt so abrupt.
Very abrupt.
Like,
and
out of nowhere.
The way it was transitioned was so awkward.
Yeah.
Because she was like, let's get back on the same page. And he's like,
He was like,
about that. I feel really bad, but what I'm wondering, and I want to get your opinion on this, where do you think things turned? Because obviously they started off very hot and heavy. I think that as soon as she showed the other side of her, where she was like, I don't even want to talk to you, Peter. Okay, I'll talk to you. I think that he was turned off by. I think he stopped trusting her after the Alayah thing, even though he sent Alayah home. I think the only reason he sent Alayah home was to avoid more drama, not because he actually believes either one of them over each other.
I think Peter, like, he can't doubt, he cannot handle. Basically, I mean, look, he said to Kelley, like, I don't feel like you're trying that hard. Any girl that isn't giving him a consistent stream, except for Victoria F.
Oh, Victoria F.
Except Victoria F.
Can cry the whole date and be like, this is my wife.
Any other girl who isn't giving him constant affirmation of like, I'm so happy to be here. You're so amazing. I love our connection. I feel so good. Like, Victoria P was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And from that moment on, I think he was like, I don't know, like, can she be my wife? Like, what was that? What was that side? She got upset with me? Like, can she be my wife? And I think he kept her after that because they had such a strong initial connection that he thought, maybe I'll get over it. Like, maybe I'll get over it. And then when he didn't, he was just like,
I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Which, like, his prerogative, obviously.
Absolutely.
But it was so out of the blue, and we didn't see any, like, they didn't fight again.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It was just like, isn't that kind of old news by now? But he wasn't over it.
That's the thing, is it's very possible for one thing to change your entire perception of someone, and that clearly happened with the Victoria P thing. Even though it may not have been that big of a deal to us as viewers, it clearly was to him.
Yeah.
Moving on, Sydney, the best kisser, was sent home, so now he's only gonna be having mediocre kisses for the rest of the season. It's really disappointing.
I guess. And, like, you know what? Props to him. If he didn't feel as strong a connection with her and it was just those lovely kisses they were sharing, like, good for him for sending her home.
Good for him. I will say, if you guys know, because we found out right before filming that Sydney and Hannah Brown apparently know each other. If you know the scoop, comment down below because we're curious and we didn't have time to look into it right before
There's
filming.
also something going around. She said during their one-on-one, like, the thing she opened up about was like having no friends in high school and like eating alone in the bathroom. And again, this is just Twitter gossip, but like people are showing yearbook photos of her that don't paint that picture, and like high school is complicated, but
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney, I'm not mad to see her go.
I'm not mad to see her go either. She also seemed a little bit of a mean girl at some points with like McKenna and stuff. But moving on to McKenna and Tammy, because oh boy,
Tammy round two.
Thankfully, Tammy was sent home first, and then McKenna was sent home at the rose ceremony. But this is how it all went down. So basically, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. Tammy decided to attack McKenna.
They're literally just sitting on a couch.
Just sitting.
And you watched her go like this. McKenna.
100%. McKenna's minding her own business.
She's just
having a great day. She was so excited about this group date where she got to be funny, and she loves being funny. And then Tammy's like, she's too confident. Let's ruin it.
Let's knock that off.
By just being like, you're not ready for marriage. You're immature. You're just this. You're just that. Out of nowhere. And then the most wild part of maybe the whole drama was that Kelsey came to her defense.
And
Kelsey
made sense.
Kelsey made sense. Kelsey played hero. She made sense. I was like, wow, do I like Kelsey now?
My biggest issue with Tammy is it kept coming back to like McKenna hadn't proven to Tammy that she was there for the right reasons. McKenna hadn't convinced Tammy that she was mature enough to be there. And I'm like, you know what? It's not her job to convince you, Tammy. It's her job to convince Peter.
Yeah.
She like, what is that even? Like, I feel like that's Tammy's whole bone to pick, and I don't understand where that stems
Me
from. 'Cause
neither.
She seems like a smart enough girl to understand that, like, it's not about the girls. It's about their relationship with Peter. So I was very disappointed.
What it felt like, though, to be honest with you, is that in Tammy's head, she was better than McKenna, and she thought in her head she knew how to play the game.
And, like, get her out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that just, A, it never works. B, like, it doesn't make you a good person or better in any regard. It actually makes you worse and beneath them.
Yeah.
Also, poor McKenna has done nothing wrong. So,
Yes.
okay, obviously we could go on and on about McKenna. We love McKenna, and we believe that she didn't get her time to shine. So today, as a special whiteboard breakdown segment, we are going to be telling you the rise and fall of McKenna. We don't know her last name.
Dorn.
Dorn.
But she deserves justice.
She deserves justice.
I don't know if it's Dorn. I think it's Dorn.
Welcome back to another whiteboard breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the rise and fall of McKenna.
Poor girl.
Oh, McKenna. McKenna's had quite the journey on this season of The Bachelor. Started off a little bit rough. There was some drama. In case you forgot, the very first episode, McKenna got into a little airplane fight, not for a pun, with Natasha.
Here's the thing. I have to confess. I pinned her as a mean girl. When I saw her throwing those airplanes, I was like, ooh, we have a villain. Were we wrong?
We were wrong.
We're so wrong.
We love McKenna.
Poor McKenna. Let's get rid of this airplane. She's
Get rid of it.
It was just
Over
a bad
it.
moment.
Past is the past. Moving forward, McKenna really started to bond with Peter and our hearts. During this time, we had the infamous makeout with the feet faced up situation everyone talked about on social media.
She didn't want her shoes to fall off or something. I get it.
It happens.
She had those ankles flexed.
She has slip-ons too. She would do the same thing.
She's just doing what she had to do.
Doing what she had to do to survive, really. But the good times slowly turned a little bit sour because Peter...
Where's Peter?
Where's Peter? Peter.
No, he was over here.
Peter.
He was over here with Victoria.
F.
Hannah.
And
Freaking Kelsey.
we don't know her last name.
Just Kelsey.
And not spending time with
McKenna. Just over it.
And you know who got a little bit insecure?
McKenna.
McKenna. And you know who heightened that insecurity of McKenna's? Rachel. Yes, we upgraded to actual Rachel from Unreal. The producer on the show that doesn't actually work on the show, but does work on the show about the show.
If you haven't watched the show about the show, highly recommend.
Check it out, it's
Unreal.
great. Big fan.
Big
we
fan.
love Rachel, but you know,
But in
She's
real
evil.
life, she sucks.
the worst.
But here's the thing. As the producers were doing their job,
Yep.
McKenna was getting, again, no time with Peter.
No time with Peter.
Basically no screen time.
No screen time.
But you know what she did have? A lot of really epic reaction moments.
Oh, yeah.
They needed like a dramatic pause. Who'd they cut to?
McKenna.
I mean, just like look at that.
Look at that.
How
That's,
could
that's a moneymaker.
And you know what else it is? It's a meme maker.
Ooh!
Like, for instance, there was this face.
This face. McKenna needs to just leave and be in a horror movie or something. You know what? That could be her next step.
And you know what came next? The tongue.
The tongue. Who could forget the tongue?
I mean, love her.
Love her.
Under a lot of pressure.
We get it.
Everyone has their thing.
Have I done that with my tongue? No.
McKenna's thing is her tongue.
I don't know what was happening here.
It happens a few times.
Like, it was a long scene with her tongue.
No, multiple scenes. She had multiple tongue moments.
All the tongue.
All leading up to her comparison to Shakira's Super Bowl tongue moment. And
Compared
you know what?
to Shakira. How cool is that?
You can't have any bad comparison with Shakira.
Shakira.
Compared to Shakira is
Come
a
on.
huge honor. So
Big honor.
She still got some work done while she was on this show. She made her mark on meme culture.
Absolutely.
And that's not a small feat.
No.
Okay? She's gonna have this forever.
But you know what didn't last forever? The good moments. Because that insecurity started to really get to McKenna. Okay? So much so that before a group date, she packed her bags because she's like, why am I still here?
You know what that proves? She was here for the right reasons.
Right reasons.
Tammy.
Tammy.
If she wanted to just be here, take in the fame, get the sponsorship deals, She wouldn't have packed her bags when she felt she was being ignored.
Yep.
And given no time with Peter.
Mhm.
But she did pack her bags because she was here for love.
But then she unpacked them because she had a great group date and was validated until she was sent home later, which we will get to. But then she unpacked her bags again because she was here to stay. And she felt good. She felt good about the group date. She felt good about her and Peter for once in the last 5 weeks. But then something happened. And do you know what happened? Tammy happened. Tammy came out of nowhere to poor McKenna minding her own business, just excited that she got to be funny on the group date. And she said, "You're not ready for marriage," without the knife, but the knife was part of the group date.
She hadn't done a good enough job of convincing, not Peter,
No,
but Tammy,
Tammy.
that she was here for the right reasons. So Tammied the situation.
Tammy the situation. And so, McKenna told Peter that Tammy the situation, and instead of Peter just believing her and sending Tammy home, he put them on basically a 2-on-1 date before the rose ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Was that fair for McKenna?
No,
Was that fair for Tammy?
I don't know.
I don't know. She should have gone home. I don't know why I asked that question. During this 2-on-1, Tammy spills the tea. Tammy
says her piece.
She does, but it's
Tammy
lies.
makes her case.
And she does make a better case than McKenna because McKenna, it's hard for her. She's had a rough time.
She does a good job though.
She does.
She does defend herself. It's just she was up against some pretty hard lies.
Yeah.
And now, I think perhaps this was the one thing that a producer may have done right. Maybe. And they may have told Peter, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah, because you know what Peter did with her kind of less convincing case and Tammy's very convincing case of lies? They sent Tammy packing.
Finally. Bye, Tammy.
Bye, Tammy. But shortly after, it was by McKenna because Peter did not give her a rose at the rose ceremony. That was literally like an hour later.
But to be fair,
it
was, I think, a strong gesture on Peter's part
Yes.
to send Tammy home separately from sending McKenna
set
home.
an example.
Set an example of Tammy's bad behavior.
And I will say, McKenna's exit was very dramatic and could have been an audition for The Bachelorette.
I'm just saying. She was strong. She knew her worth.
She was emotional.
She even said that she wished her love story had been able to begin because, again, she was never given a chance.
Could have happened.
Could have happened. I'm just saying. People were accusing her of coming up with hashtags. Renee, what's the hashtag?
Justice for McKenna.
Hashtag justice for McKenna.
McKenna.
Write it down.
Where do we?
Hashtag justice for McKenna. This girl.
I did a 4 because you were writing faster than me.
Justice.
Justice.
That's what she deserves.
Yes, she does. So you know what, McKenna? If you're out there and you're watching, we believe in you.
We believe in you.
I don't think this is really the fall, but the rise.
The rise. She's gonna keep rising. And you know what? Follow her on TikTok. She's great on
She's
there.
really funny. We enjoy it.
Big things are happening for this girl.
We love you. Okay, well that's it. That's it. We're
Bye.
done. Oh, McKenna, we'll miss you. We love you. Follow us on social media, please. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the one-on-ones of Wednesday night. So we started off with Hannah Ann. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I've been more bored by a connection. Do
Here's
they
the
have a
thing.
connection?
I think everyone was like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
Hannah Ann, Peter, sparks are gonna fly. She's a front runner.
Where were the sparks?
There were no
They
sparks.
didn't fly? I don't think they were there.
Well, okay, they did have some fun. Like the whole montagey part of look, we're exploring and whatever. That was fun. It was when they sat down and were supposed to have that intimate, tell him your sob story, tell him your deepest secret, tell him why you love him moment that she just didn't.
It was awkward.
Yeah.
Like Hannah B first date with Colton, awkward. But I don't know if you know, you guys, there's actually a hack to winning Peter's heart, and that is randomly start crying about something. It doesn't really need to be anything specific, anything deep, just start crying.
He can't be the bad guy.
No,
he
can't
will
be the
not.
bad-
He
no.
will not give a rose to a girl who's crying.
If you're
The one
crying,
thing-
you're probably gonna marry him at one point.
The one thing that really stood out to him was when she revealed that she had never been in love before. And again, she's 22 or 23. I think she was 23. So like, I think that was the first moment where he went like, oh, she's really young. She's never been in love before. Is she ready to be someone's wife? Mm-hmm. She didn't give him a good enough answer, but then she cried. So like we said, she totally
cried.
ended up being fine.
Yeah, she knew. Like literally, he left, and she's like, oh God, think. Tears. And she went out, she cried. She just said she couldn't smile through it, and that is all he needed to hear. So, Hannah Ann, sticking around some
Lives
more.
to see another day.
Speaking of tears and how that gets you to stay on The Bachelor for a longer period of time, let's get to Victoria F's one-on-one date. So, I don't know if you know this, Victoria F cries every time we see her on screen with Peter.
And she's gotten a lot, compared to the other girls, so much time.
This is her second one-on-one date. So obviously, which just did not help the case for any women in the house feeling insecure that some of them haven't even had one-on-ones, McKenna, and now Victoria F is getting a second one-on-one. They didn't even have that much fun in the day, like they did, but she had the breakdown during the day before even dinner.
Mm-hmm. And she did the whole like, I'm nervous, I'm so nervous, I'm nervous.
She did the thing where she also is just like, I don't know, like
I wish I knew.
I wish I
don't
knew,
know.
but like
I wish I knew.
I don't know.
I just don't know
Like
what to say.
the whole time. And Peter's like, what? Yeah. He even, when she at dinner later on, when she's still saying nothing,
When she got up and walked out.
left, said, give me a moment, and because she felt sick, and producers had to talk to her and to him, Peter's still trying to be like, what can I say to her?
How do I get her to say? Here's the thing, and we've talked about this. She is the only girl doing anything close to what hard to get is. And
Yep.
I think that like in a sea of everyone telling him exactly what he wants to hear, she's played the perfect game of, I'm so into you, but like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
And so she's giving him something different. I don't think based on who Peter is, this would work. But clearly it's working
But
for
it's
her.
working.
Yeah.
Miracles, honestly. She literally was like, I don't know if I'm ready to be your wife, which this
Which
kind of
when
reminds
Kelley
me of?
said that and Hannah said that, it was like the biggest
I was
red
like,
flag.
whoa, why are you on the show for the right reasons? And Victoria F has only been indecisive, and look how far it's gotten her on the show.
So crazy.
But this kind of reminds me of Colton and Cassie, but not earlier on in the season. It was like the final date that they had where she was sending herself home, and he's like, no, what do I say? And she's like, I'm not ready to be a wife. And he's like, no, but it's you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. So I'm thinking in his head right now, she's the clear winner. I think that'll change based on what we've seen in previews. But I think right now, based on their conversation, based on how much he's let slide, based on him even saying like when he gave her the rose, he was like, clearly this was like a mess or whatever he said.
Yeah.
But I'm still giving you the rose. That goes to show she is a clear front runner in his mind currently, in my opinion.
I agree.
Moving on to the group date, which was fun. Yeah, it was a Bachelor group date.
I don't even remember what it was right this second. What was it?
Telenovelas. They were reacting, or not reacting. They were creating their own
creating
telenovelas. The
Fine.
highlight of that date was that Kelley played his grandma and made a joke that he should end up with his grandma. I thought that was funny.
And okay, I thought the date concept itself, again, like I struggle with these group dates. Like, just give the girls time. Like, why are they acting? But happy for McKenna.
Yeah, McKenna, at first I was like, oh my gosh, these producers won't leave this poor girl alone because she's playing
made the best of that.
She did great.
Yeah.
I was proud of our girl, McKenna.
Yeah, she got a great little moment there.
Yes.
Gave her a good day. Actually, reaffirmed her faith that she wanted to stay.
Before Tammy crushed it.
Before Tammy, yeah.
And then ultimately Peter crushed it. Let's move on.
Anyways.
Moving on to a more serious part of our show that we do every single week. Deep thoughts and dumb quotes. This week's dumb quote comes from, I think, the same person it came from last week.
There's just so many good options.
So many. But it is our man,
Yeah, we gave it to Peter.
Peter Weber, who said, while breaking up with Victoria P., and I quote, I don't know if I see you as my wife, I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry about that. So what do you think he's sorry for?
Well,
Is he sorry for being sorry? Is he sorry
I was gonna say, I think it's almost like he's sorry. He's sorry that he's sorry, and he's sorry that he can't do it. But more than anything, he just is sorry.
He's sorry.
He's sorry for how he feels. He's sorry.
He's sorry. I hope that when a man doesn't want me to be his wife, he also says, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry about that.
I just what I don't understand with Peter is like, it's okay that you don't see her as your wife.
Yeah.
But like, don't you think she deserves a little more than I'm don't
sorry
see
about
you
that.
as my wife and I'm sorry? Like, why don't you see her as your wife?
I just love the.
Does he have a reason? Or it's just a gut? I think it's just a gut.
It's
feeling.
a gut. Yeah, I don't think he had an explanation. It was just something he felt. And so how he explained it was just, I don't think I see you as my wife.
And
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry about that. So anyways, what a good quote.
What a great quote. Peter, man.
You kill it, Peter.
He's ready for marriage. You know what I mean?
He's doing his best. It's just like, what?
Now, before we dive into that insane promo with all the crying and drama, let's remind you guys who is left and who could still win Peter's heart.
I don't even know.
We have Madison.
Front runner.
We have Hannah Ann. We have Victoria F. We have Kelsey. We have Kelley. And lastly, Natasha. Who will win? We'll find out in a few weeks. But let's get into the promo because a lot happened and it looks like madness. So first of all, we see Hannah Ann crying and saying that she doesn't want to
melting down.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's no longer smiling through anything.
No.
She's over it. And she says that she doesn't want to say goodbye, whatever that means. Then we have Victoria F crying once again. Peter says she's given him reasons to doubt. I'm glad he's finally realized that. We have Kelsey and him making out somewhere on a hill. But then at a dinner, she is saying like, that's such a coward excuse. You can't say that. We don't know if that's actually directed at him or if she's telling a story because ABC likes to play with our heart. We have Kelley finally losing her patience. At one point, she said someone needs to go, saying chop, chop, let's
Victoria
go.
F. She's like, chop, chop, get rid of
We
her.
think, we don't know.
Oh yeah, I guess that could have been creative cutting.
We have Natasha also saying, hopefully that bitch doesn't come back. That could be any bitch at this point. And Madison still remaining unproblematic.
He loves her.
He loves her. He literally says, you make me so freaking happy. So, lots going down. What I want to know is, do you think that Kelsey is saying that directly to him or telling a story?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I think she's telling a story because honestly, she like wants it so bad.
Yeah.
That would be a huge 180.
B,
You have to really betray her.
What do you think Hannah Ann is crying about, saying like, I don't want to say goodbye? Do you think she's just not ready, or do you think some drama goes down?
I think he is still not convinced and she can't handle his doubts.
Okay. And lastly, I want to know if you think Victoria F is finally going home based on the promo.
I freaking hope.
I know! Peter, get it together. Okay, you've heard our thoughts. We want to hear yours. What do you think is happening next week with all of that drama? Let us know your predictions down in the comments. But before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you can watch our Bachelor recap every single week.
Then click right over here for another new video.
And as always, I'm your host, Renee Ariel. You can follow me on socials at Renee Ariel.
And I'm Fiona Zaring. You can follow me on socials at Fiona Zaring, and we'll see you guys next time.